So the issue that we engaged in is the human and carbon dioxide emission and how it affects the carbon and oxygen cycle and the environment.
What exactly is human carbon dioxide emission? It is where humans release more carbon dioxide into our atmosphere that it causes imbalance on the carbon cycle.
Well, how does it exactly tie into the carbon and oxygen cycle? There needs to be a certain amount of carbon dioxide in the carbon and oxygen cycle because the carbon dioxide is one of the main ingredients in the carbon and oxygen cycle.
But before we get into the environmental crisis that human carbon dioxide emissions creates, let's take a look at how human carbon dioxide emissions causes imbalance on the cycle.
Carbon and oxygen are the two elements that are essential to life, and they are in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide and gaseous oxygen. And these two elements are always circulating between the soil, air, and water. So living matters are always renewed with this cycle, making everything else balanced. Human carbon dioxide emission affects the photosynthesis in the carbon and oxygen cycle because there's so much excess amount of carbon dioxide that is being released. It is not able to process that huge amount and to create oxygen for living matter to use.
While the carbon dioxide we put in is getting processed, this means what goes in must come out. There will be more carbon dioxide released from human activities from the cellular respiration. This excess amount of carbon dioxide will not be easily processed. This is why the excess amount will go into the atmosphere. Mongolia has the highest per capita carbon dioxide emissions in Central Asia because of the coal industry and the overpopulation resulting to large demand in supplies and needs. Mongolia, a small country, impacts the carbon cycle already, releasing so much carbon dioxide from the coal industry and all the households that use an efficient amount of energy.
So the large amount of carbon dioxide released in Mongolia unbalanced the natural cycle of carbon and oxygen cycle. And the large amount of carbon dioxide that is being put into the cycle means there needs to be more trees to absorb the carbon dioxide to produce oxygen. And because of the coal industry, the cement industry, and the population increasing, that will release a huge amount of carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. This means that there's going to be lots of space taken from all these human activities, which causes deforestation. Human carbon dioxide emission, it causes a lot of environmental problems because of all the excess amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The excess amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it causes an increase in the temperature of the earth, and it causes a lot of other environmental crises like unpredictable weather, climate change, and the rise of the temperature also affects the temperature of the sea, making the sea acidic